You can't have happiness without sadness. Good times and hard times will pass all the same. We just need to learn to navigate it. Good morning, good afternoon and good evening. And welcome back to a very early morning of #RunForNotFrom. It's week 23 and so far I'm the only person out and about in St Albans. So far it's been so good. It's week 23, as I said before. If you're new to the channel, #RunForNotFrom is about running for our problems, running for strength and authenticity. And in this week, you may not have gathered from the intro, we're going to talk about emotions. And we're going to talk about the importance of showing emotions, but then also a balancing act of who to show them to, when to show your emotions, when to, I don't want to say stay strong, I don't like that word, but there's a time and a place. I'm not saying you have to be emotionless and bury anything, because that's not healthy at all. But I think it is a personal balancing act of letting those people in you trust and showing them your emotion, showing them your sadness, your anger, your disappointment. But then if they're not in your inner circle of friends and family, then they don't need to know. It's called a private life for a reason. Don't let other people know your business, because they'll just manipulate it and try to manipulate you. Words and phrases that we're also going to talk about today is stuff like man up, stay strong, don't cry. And I think it's important to note that hiding your emotions doesn't make you strong, it makes you heavy, makes you lethargic. And when you bury your emotions, they don't die, they're buried alive, and they come back in horrible, horrible ways. So we need to address them, we need to run for them, we don't need to run away from them. Let's start off with why we avoid emotions. And we're taught as a child that sadness, anger, fear are weaknesses. It's ingrained into us by those such sayings like man up, stay strong, don't cry, or the new one that I'm hearing a lot, positive vibes only, which really gets on my nerves. Because the world isn't all about positive vibes, not all of the time. Look, last week or the week before, I spoke about optimism, and I said I think I'm probably the most optimistic person on the planet. It's my superpower, and I still completely agree with that. But there's a time and a place, and there needs to be a level of understanding for your emotions, because they can't be buried, they fester inside, and they hurt you and make you heavy. You need to address them. You need to tackle them head on, because unfortunately it's one of those unavoidable things of life. You know the saying from the Matrix films, it's either my way or the highway. Well, unfortunately, there isn't a highway option. There is only this way. You have to address it. There is no other way around it. You've got to attack them. So you either let them attack you, or you take control and you address them yourself. Before we go up this lovely, long, steep hill, let's talk about me and my emotions. I feel like I'm a very emotionally in touch man, a very emotionally in touch person. I'm certainly not afraid to cry, and never have been, whether that be music or movies or life itself. I've always been in touch with that side of me, and I've always seen it as a uniqueness and a quality of mine. And that emotionality comes into all parts of my life. That high level of emotion, that high level of passion, that high level of optimism, it's part of me. It's what makes me me, and it's why my friends like me, and hopefully my friends and family love me. But I am fearful. I'm not fearless at all. But without fear, there's no opportunity to be brave. I'm fearful of the future, my future, the world's future. I try to forget about things that are out of my control as much as possible, but it's hard not to sometimes. But in terms of fearful for the future, I hold myself to a much higher standard than I would hold anyone else. I push myself harder than I would ever push anyone else, because it's my own journey and I want to be brilliant and I want to be amazing. And fear creeps in when I think, oh, what if I'm not amazing? Then I've got to go out and just prove that I am. And I've got to do something special. I want to be something special. That's one of my big fears. And I do let people know that. I've let you guys know that because I think it's important to know. Of course, I've got other things in my life that I don't open up to you about. And I don't even open up to some of my friends and family about. There's select people who know everything. And then believe it or not, there's some stuff I keep to myself as well. And that's important. You need to choose the people wisely. I've said it in possibly every video now. The people you choose to surround yourself with are so important. They will make or break you as a person. So choose them wisely. Sometimes I do like to stop at the halfway point of this particular run for a few reasons. One, it's the first half is certainly the hardest half. It is the steepest and it's got the most treacherous terrain. When I say treacherous, I mean I'm not climbing Mount Everest here, but it's a long, slow hill. And so when you do finally make it halfway, there is a sense of achievement. So you stop for that reason. Also, from a motivational point of view and from a reflective point of view, it's nice to stop halfway in all of your runs, just for a second, not to rest, but to think about how far you've come and how you're going to do it all again. And it could be a point in the run when you're thinking, that first half was hard and this is going to be a real struggle, but I'm going to do it. And it builds that discipline. And on the other hand, it could be, oh, the first half of that was pretty easy. And then you think, you know what, it took me 20 minutes to get to the halfway point. I'm gonna get home in 15. And then it builds that competitiveness. So it's a really interesting thing too, to stop halfway. Try and plan your runs, your routes. On a Wednesday, I always run the same route, so I know where the halfway point is. And I think, oh, okay, I'm doing pretty well for time now. Heart rate's low. I'm efficient. Or sometimes it's, you've given it your all. Now it's time to enjoy that second half home and coast. Just one to think about. Now let's talk about how we can show our emotions. If you struggle to show your emotions, what can you be doing regularly to help you? And here are my 5 little tips for you. You're gonna name it. Name your emotion, say it out loud, write it down. I am angry, I am sad, I am happy, I'm excited. Name it. And then I want you to share it, but only with the people you trust. Only people you know won't make fun and won't ridicule you for your emotions. Thirdly, you're gonna allow the release. You're allowed to cry. You're allowed to crash out. You're allowed to take things personally. Let it out. Release it all. Don't keep it bottled up. You've then got to challenge the myth. That's number 4. You're not a machine. You're human. And humans are brilliant in many, many ways. But sometimes our emotions get the best of us. And we need to learn how to cope with that. And then 5th and final, you need to understand truly that sadness is strength and that fear is brave. One of my favorite films is Evan Almighty, and Morgan Freeman plays God. It's a sequel to Bruce Almighty, which is an even better film, in my opinion. And there's a lovely quote near the end of the film from Morgan Freeman about when you pray to God for courage, do you think he makes you brave, or do you think gives you opportunity to be brave. If you pray for patience, do you think God just gives you patience? Or does God give you opportunity to be patient? Now, whether you believe in God is up to you, but it's important to think all these opportunities are around you. Stop going, he said, she said, that said. Life hit me down. Hit back. Get back on top. When you fall, you immediately have to get back up and address what's knocked you down. And now it's time in the video for one of the newest segments, but fast becoming one of my favorites, which is the quickfire run reflections. So I'll explain briefly what these are. They are usually about 4 questions that I ask that I want you to think about. Don't want you to ask a friend, I don't want you to Google them. After each question, you can pause the video, you can write them down. You can just listen to the end of the full 4 and then think about them. But it's really important that you reflect. Look internally and try and find some answers. Maybe you don't have any answers yet. Maybe you have to think about it for a week. But if you do, come back to this video. I want you to leave a comment. Say which question you answered. You can even put the answer if you want. That's up to you. But I want you to come back and write it down. So the first question is, when was the last time I didn't show my emotions due to fear of how other people would react? Question 2, how would I feel if I vented or even cried to someone I love? And second question would be, how would they react if you vented or cried in front of them? Question 3, who in your life can you be more open with? Who is someone you trust, but maybe you've never made that final leap? And now's the opportunity to speak to them, have a drink with them, have a coffee, whatever it might be, and open up with them and see how they react. Only if you think they're a person you can trust. Fourth and final question, can I see as showing emotion as a form of strength rather than a weakness? And if you can't, why not? Find out why. Was it how you were brought up? Was it past experiences? Whatever it may be, think about it. Before we go on to this week's quote, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who's subscribed, everyone who's watching these videos weekly. I know there's a few of you now, which I'm really, really happy about. And this was a topic very close to my heart. So I hope you enjoyed. I really enjoyed making this one. So if you did resonate with it, or if you did feel something deeply about this video, one of the previous videos, please do share it. Please talk about it with your friends and family. Subscribe, like this video, and comment if you can, because I do want to make this into a lovely community of health, wealth, and growth. Okay, we are showered and washed, and I forgot that I need to do the quote of the week. I'll be completely honest with you. I've got to rush off to work, so I'm going to get it done now, all changed and clean, ready to go. But this week's quote comes from Robert Frost, who is who was an American poet and author. He was most famous for his work of stopping by the woods on a snowy evening. Stopping in the woods on a snowy evening, yeah. And his quote goes as follows. Poetry is when an emotion has found its thought, and the thought has found its words. Let me know what you think.